Good morning. I'm Mike Duran. I'm the CEO of Colibri Group, and welcome to the company. Wanted to start by introducing myself. Gosh, what is worth sharing? I've been with the business. I've been involved with the business since 2004, so going on 14 years. I've been CEO of the business since 2011. At that point, Matt McKissick made a crazy pitch to ask me and he and I to change roles, and we did that, and it's been a wonderful ride. Our passion statement is Unleashing Heroes. I am Mike Duran. I am Unleashing Heroes, and my passion statement is through thoughtful curiosity, love, and an immense sense of gratitude, I challenge and inspire myself and others to believe in ourselves and one another in a way that has us take purposeful action now so that we can feel the joy of doing what we previously thought impossible. And when I think about why I'm here and what drives me every day, that really does get to the core of what makes what makes me go. And I think that's part of why I wanted to have the opportunity to talk with you here today and just share with you a little bit about myself and Colibri. So let's talk about the foundational concepts underlying the Colibri Way. So the first thing we want to talk about is what we call the ultimate business formula. And you see it here on the screen. And what that phrase really means is that business is all about people working with people, doing stuff for people. And fundamental to how we think about the business is that it is all about people working with people, right? In that equation, 3/4 of what you see there is about people. And 1/4 of it is about stuff, right? The things that we do are important, but inevitably how we work together is as big or a bigger driver of success in any business, and particularly here at Colibri. So the first thing I want to make sure you understand, when we think about everyone in their roles in the business, we fundamentally embrace the idea that people want to do a good job. No one comes to work to do a bad job. And um, and so when you start with that, what you end up understanding is it allows you to come from a good place in every conversation, right? Because inevitably things are not going to go right somewhere along the way. We will make mistakes. In fact, we encourage you to make mistakes. And when you make mistakes, you're going to have a conversation about those mistakes. It's going to be a learning opportunity. And it's important that in that conversation that you and your supervisor in particular, is coming from a place in that conversation where he or she is understanding that you were genuinely doing your best. You weren't trying to screw up, right? And in fact, that's where the learning occurs. So that will be a recurring theme, I think, throughout your time here at Colibri and probably in our conversation today. So as we go into some of the slides here, these are really in advance of the core values. We want to talk about just the kind of an organization that we want to be. And so this slide here depicts what we call the directive organization. This is frankly what most organizations look like. If you take away survival there at the top, you've probably seen a pyramid like that somewhere in business before. And that's really the organizational pyramid, right? The CEO with the VPs reporting to the CEO, followed by the managers reporting to the VPs, the employees reporting to the managers, and the customers being managed by the employees. And energy and focus flows upward, and directives and instructions flow downward. That is not the kind of organization we want to be. If you look over on the right there, what you see is the in and the on the business. And what that really represents, the in is a representation of how much time people are spending executing the daily tasks to keep the business running. And the on represents the strategic tasks that are being done, executed upon in order to advance the business to the next level. And in a directive organization, it's very common that the CEO is spending 80% of his time in the business and 20% on. 90% of the VP's time is spent in the business and 10% is spent on. And really it's the managers and the employees who really just feel like they're on that constant treadmill. They're running at 120% of what they feel is their capacity, and they're just managing. They're fighting fires and managing daily tasks. They're not actually working to advance the strategic initiatives of the business. And there's really very little listening to customers in that kind of a business. And again, I think that one of the phrases that you'll hear people talk about in business journals from time to time is the death march of business. And I think that when organizations look like that, survival is the right moniker for the business, and that can feel like a death march if that goes on for too long. And so again, it's just as we get started here, what I want to make sure you understand is that that is not the organization we want to be. And I want to make sure you also understand there will be times when it feels exactly that way. And what I want you as a new employee to hear and understand and internalize is that when that happens, you need to know that a conversation needs to happen and we need to get our arms around that and fix it. Because I promise you again, it will happen, right? Good people, despite their best intentions, will unknowingly allow ourselves to fall into that position from time to time because we are a performance-driven organization. We do run hard. We do try to make great things happen. And sometimes we just have our blinders on. And so let me apologize now for the moment. Somewhere down the road, you'll find yourself in that position. And now let's turn the page and let's tell you what we want it to look like and what we want you to turn it back to whenever you find that happening. This is what we call the conscious organization. And the conscious organization is about flipping the pyramid and really starting from a standpoint of vision and mission. And in the conscious organization, again, you see here that we flipped the pyramid. And so really what it starts with is the customer is at the top. The customer comes first. Employees have the role to serve the customer, take care of their needs, be empowered, act with purpose. Managers' role is to make sure they are supporting the employees, and the VP's job is to make sure they're supporting the managers. And my job as CEO is to make sure that I'm supporting the VPs and giving them what they need to go make great things happen. And in that kind of an organization, again, vision and mission are what guide everyday activities. And again, we'll talk about more of this in a bit, but in the conscious organization, employees are simply doing what needs to get done. They have the authority, the capability, and the knowledge to act, and they're acting with purpose without being told. I liken it to being a Navy SEAL. You're given a mission, and your job is to go figure out how to make that mission happen each and every day, and it's unsupervised. And in that kind of an organization, energy and focus flows in both directions. Information flows in both directions, and the in and the on the business activities look totally different. Customers are actually engaged in providing feedback both in the business and on the business. If you could just improve this, I'd be so much happier. Gosh, if you guys thought about offering this, I'd be really interested in that kind of a product. And that information is flowing all the way to me as a CEO. And a lot of times it's flowing to me as saying, hey, we heard this feedback from a customer and we've already taken care of it. When that happens, that's when we know we're doing things right. Employees are spending their time, 90% of their time in the business still. They have daily tasks they have to execute. There's a lot of work that has to get done, but they're also making time to spend 10% of their time on the business. And we do that in a variety of ways. We have things like OFIs. We have things we call JDIs. OFIs are opportunities for improvement. Those are cross-functional opportunities where a team gets together to go work on a problem in the business. JDIs are something that's typically departmentally focused, but again, something's not right, and they're making the time to go fix that. And there are a variety of other ways. Improving processes. One of the things we'll talk about is that we want you to first focus on learning your job, then focus on mastering your job, then focus on improving your job. And when you're in that mode of improving your job, you're working on the business. And cross-training. Cross-training is another form of on-the-business activity. So a lot of opportunities for on-the-business activity, even at the employee level, as you're starting to grow. Managers, we want them spending 20% of their time on the business. VPs, 60% of their time on the business. And for me as CEO, the vast majority of my time should be spent working on the business. And that's what a conscious organization looks like. So you ask the question, hey, that all sounds good, that all sounds interesting. Why do we care? Why do we want to be a conscious organization? And what I love about this is that people will sometimes say, hey, doing what's right and being great at business are mutually exclusive. What this slide shows is that's not true at all. What it shows is that being a conscious organization is actually great business. So this slide depicts really three different categories of companies. The first is the overall S&P 500 over, I think, a 15-year period. The second is good to great companies. And the third is conscious organizations. And those are organizations that operate with the pyramid flipped as we just described. And so in a conscious organization, what you see is that those organizations, good to great companies, by the way, outperform the S&P 500 over that 15-year period by I think 2 to 1, something in that neighborhood, right? So they do perform better, and good to great companies have long been regarded as the standard for companies that you want to aspire to be when compared to the S&P 500. Well, conscious organizations outperform the S&P 500 by a factor of 14, and they outperform good to great companies by a factor of 6. So again, the point here is that good business and treating people well and empowering them and letting them achieve their version of their best self, they do not have to be mutually exclusive principles. In fact, we would argue here at Colibri that is the path to producing superior investment returns and superior business results. It is by treating our people as if they are the most important thing that matters. What is Colibri, by the way? You may be wondering. Colibri is actually Spanish for hummingbird. And so you see our logo there, it's a hummingbird. And the reason we chose the hummingbird as part of our logo is because the hummingbird has a bunch of wonderful qualities. So what makes Colibri great? Again, what I want you to understand here is that this is a system, and all these pieces come together. And it's not a system in terms of some mechanical thing, but rather it's a system that is self-reinforcing. And at the end of the day, it's designed to help us operate in a very purposeful way. And so the first thing is our passion statement. Let's go through that. Our passion statement is educate, empower, and achieve. And that is true in both how we operate the business as well as how we want each of our employees to operate themselves. And just for history's sake, our passion statement used to be educate, empower, and enrich. And again, if you take each of those words independently, they speak to them. They speak for themselves in some way. Educate, obviously, we're an education company. Empower, I think that's a really important word in how we think about what we do here. It is about giving people the tools they need to advance their careers. And then, the old word was enrich. And what we realized was that very few of our customers are actually taking our courses to become enriched. They're taking our courses for really one of two reasons. Because number one, they have to in a lot of cases. And number two, and more importantly, they're trying to achieve something. They're trying to achieve a better station in life, right? In some cases, our courses are offered as a means to help them maintain their license. And even in that instance, customers repeatedly tell us that they want the opportunity to learn. They sometimes resent the fact the government is making them take a course. Yet when they get into a really great course and they learn something, they come out appreciative, right? It's like being forced on a walk. You're supposed to exercise, right? But only when you do it and get done with it and feel good about it do you realize, gosh, that was good for me. I'm glad I did it, right? And that's the same thing with our courses, even when they're required. And so again, enrichment versus achievement, we are all about achievement here at Colibri. And so what's our mission statement? Our mission statement is to offer a personal enriching experience, to provide relevant, accessible information, and to empower you to boldly advance your career and more. And one of the things that goes hand in hand with that is our brand promise. Our brand promise is to achieve more. And we don't have a separate slide on that in this deck. When we think about how we want to help students each and every day, it's about achievement. It's about helping them achieve more in their day so that they can achieve more in their career, so they can achieve more in their life. And that is a great segue to our core values and what comes next, which is our promises. So let's talk first about our core values. Our core values, there are 5 of them. The first is love. We honor every relationship with respect, compassion, and honesty. And what I really focus on when I think about the core value of love is the notion of, loving my son is a great example, right? And love is a unique core value. You don't see that in a lot of companies. But focus on the words respect, compassion, and honesty, right? And if you're trying to help someone become a version of their best self, that's going to require constant feedback. It's going to require empathy in the conversation. It's going to require approaching every conversation with a notion of respect. But you've also got to hold them accountable, right? That accountability is what challenges people to be that version of their best self. And every time you allow someone the slack of not being that, right? I would argue that that is us not living the core value of love. And I push people on that all the time, right? Being an empowered organization means that most things don't reach me, right? They get resolved long before they reach me. And so the real magic in the company, the real action that defines who we are is about how people interact with one another, right? And so when you're working in a team, it's about you guys working together with respect, compassion, and honesty to achieve a goal. And that means you got to hold one another accountable. And so that's how you think about the core value of love, right? That's when we're living at the best. The next is trust. We pledge unwavering commitment to listen, act, and respond with integrity and transparency. And again, as an organization here, we want people to go out and make magic happen, right? And in order for that to happen, you've got to have unfettered independence. You've got to feel free to go take a risk, right? And when you do that, you're going to make mistakes. It's okay. I want you to hear that right now. You're going to make mistakes, and it's okay. In fact, if you're not making mistakes, this probably is the right place for you, okay? And that's important because we want to do something that has never been done before. We are growing a collection of education companies into something that is redefining what education means in this country, right? And that is no small goal. That is no small feat. And it happens a little bit at a time each and every day, right? We've got a whole lot of things that surround us that frankly make that vision challenging. We have regulatory requirements, we have customer expectations. Really, regulatory requirements are probably one of the biggest. But you have a whole education system that is geared towards grades and classrooms and degrees, and frankly, $200,000 education, $200,000 education for a piece of paper. And what we're trying to accomplish here is to change all that. And to change all that, we need a whole bunch of things. And in fact, joy and boldness and teamwork will be some of the other things we need to achieve that. So let's keep going. Joy. We celebrate the balance of passion, person, and purpose that unleashes individual fulfillment. When we think about what we want people to achieve here in the business, again, it's not just about helping our customers achieve, it's about personal achievement also. And it's about achieving individual fulfillment in your work. One of the things we have you do is your purpose and passion statement. And why do we have you do that? It's because what we want you to do is first understand what it is that brings joy to you. And if you recall that experience, one of the things we ask you to do throughout that exercise is recall peak experiences in your life, right? And inevitably what happens when people are asked that question is that they think about the moments that meant the most to them. And when you think about what drives happiness over the long run, it's a constant effort to recreate those kinds of moments in each and every one of our lives. And so what we want you to do as an individual, when you think about celebrating the core value of joy, is we want you to show up every day working on things that are aligning your individual purpose and passion with the goals of the business. And we challenge you to think about ways to align your individual purpose and passion with the goals of the business, right? Mine, for instance, again, is Unleashing Heroes. And I can think of no better activity than for me to be guiding a group of people that are determined to change how education happens in this country. And each and every day when I see them strive and embrace trust and take risk and reach for things that frankly seem impossible, that is when I really experience my purpose and passion. I really experience joy. So I encourage you to do the same. Think about what your purpose and passion is and how you can apply it to this business. Boldness. With courage to reach for the stars, we fearlessly innovate and challenge boundaries. Again, I think, just think back to what I just said on trust, right? To get where we want to go is going to require boldness. And in order to embrace that boldness, you've got to have trust. The next is teamwork. Working together, we encourage each other to utilize our time and resources to achieve our goals, knowing the rewards will be shared by all. I think that is self-explanatory. I think what's important here when you think about all of the core values, including teamwork, it's to understand that what I just explained, those are high bars. And you need to understand that I mean every word of it. Everyone here in the company means every word of it. And are we perfect? Absolutely not. Do we screw up? I just told you to screw up. Of course we screw up. And what you have to understand is that when we get in conversations about people's long-term opportunity here at Colibri, we actually think about their fit with our core values. Do they exhibit love on a regular basis? That brutal honesty that makes us all better, but done in a respectful and compassionate way. Do they exhibit trust? Are they embracing the opportunity and really stretching themselves? Are they living their purpose and passion, thinking about how to bring their best self to work and align that with the goals of the business? Are they being bold and reaching for the stars? And are they a great teammate? Are people really excited to work with them? Those are the things that determine your career trajectory, that and obviously your ability to perform. But to have just one or the other, that's not going to be the path to success here at Colibri. We do hire and fire based on our core values. So the first thing I'll say is welcome. You're here because people have determined that you do represent our core values. You wouldn't be sitting in this seat looking at this screen if folks didn't already think that you were a cultural fit with our organization. Now the opportunity is to go live that and use that to make you and those around you and the company better, in addition to our customers. So when we operate the business, we operate from a framework of promises. And there are 3 here on the screen, but in reality there are actually 5. And I want to make sure you understand all 5 because in my role as CEO, my job is really to keep all 5 of these promises in balance. And there's a perpetual tension between all 5 of these. And so I share them with you today, not so that you take away the burden of my role. I love my job. I love my job. But I want to share with you these last few promises in addition to the 3 here on the screen, so you understand everything that goes into how I make a decision. Because some of my decisions, frankly, aren't always that popular. And you know what? That's my job, and I embrace it. So the first promise here is the promise to our people, and it goes like this: we promise to invest in you, to trust you to do what's in all our best interest, which is to take care of the customer. We promise to believe in your ability to overcome the challenges we'll inevitably face on our journey and to lead us to achieve the impossible. We ask for your genuine participation, your willingness to engage, and openness to seeing new avenues of progress. A willingness to walk down that road, and your trust that the journey will be a fun and fulfilling one for all of us. So when you think about this promise to our people, there are really 2 pieces here that I want to make sure you internalize. The first is that we promise to invest in you, right? You showing up here today, whoever you are, you could be our chief marketing officer, or you could be in customer service, or you could be anywhere in between. And when you show up here, everyone has a preconceived notion about what business is. And part of what we're striving to do here is reinvent what business is, right? That was why I shared with you that notion of the conscious organization, because we do purposefully do things different here. And so our promise is to invest in you, to help you understand what we do, why we do it, to teach you our self-reinforcing system, and then invest in you to advance your skills so you have a career path that is exciting to you and beneficial to the business. So that's the first thing, is we promise to invest in you. And the second thing here is that we promise to believe, the second thing here is that we trust you to do what's in all our best interest, which is to take care of the customer. And again, there's a whole lot of things that you'll think about in your role, and you'll inevitably find yourself at a point where the needs of the business are in conflict in some way with the needs of the customer. And at that moment, what you need to understand is this is your moment to shine. This is your moment to exhibit courage and to live our core values. And in that moment, right, you may have a manager that is looking for you to determine something that feels impossible, and you feel like your only course of action to deliver that is to compromise what you're giving to the customer. And what you need to recognize in that moment, again, is that the opportunity is for you to do the right thing and take care of the customer and stand up to that manager and stand up to whatever force is inside the company might be causing you to feel that angst. Because I promise you, that manager does not realize that he or she is doing that. If a manager exhibits that quality on a regular basis, we wash them out. They're not here. But again, everyone falls into that trap from time to time. Okay? So again, Our best defense against building a business that first pyramid, that directive organization, our best defense against that organization, against that kind of an organization, is you, and we're counting on you to bring your best when those moments occur. And just know that we trust you. Second promise is a promise to our customers. We promise to give you a great experience that surpasses your expectations and one that you feel gives you a lot more than you paid for. We promise we will deliver to you information that helps your career, is interesting, and delivered in a way that is enjoyable, clear, concise, and pleasant to digest. We further promise to seek your input and understand your needs so we can continue to serve you effectively throughout your career. So when I think about this promise here, there are a couple things that I really want to focus on. The first is the promise to give you a great experience that surpasses your expectations. In a minute, we'll talk about our goal. And we used to say our goal was to serve 2 million customers at an average revenue per customer of $100 by December 2019. What I realized is that that's actually a true statement. What I realized is that what really matters is that we're delivering 5 times the value from where we sit today. And the opportunity to do that comes from our ability to embrace technology, our ability to bring new forms of learning, and our ability to deliver compelling education that causes people to act. And when we do that, we're living our promise to our customers and giving people a lot more than they expected based on what they paid. The second piece here down at the bottom is that we promise to seek your input and understand your needs so we continue to serve you effectively throughout your career. Again, I talked about the in the business and on the business activities earlier, and the fact that we need information to flow from the customers all the way through the organization, all up to me or down to me, and across everywhere else. This promise to our customers, it's all about being responsive to what is that they need to solve the problems that they need to address to achieve more in their careers, right? Our promise is genuine and it is specific, and it is all about giving them what they need to achieve more. The third promise is a promise to our world. I call this one the magnification principle. And our promise here is that we promise to give knowledge to our professionals so that they can be net contributors to the world we share. We promise to provide quality tools to everyone we touch to magnify the impact each has on those around them. We are committed to being the vehicle to bridge the gap in this changing world for people around the world to have access to earning tools that enable them to take care of their families and lead fulfilling lives. And so what's that all about? Again, it's about magnification, right? We provide education which allows people the opportunity to achieve more in their lives. And when they achieve more in their lives, they're able to do more with and for those around them. Jack Welch famously said that it is a responsibility of every business first and foremost to earn a profit, because it's only through that profit that we're able to do more in our communities. It's only through that profit that we can pay our employees more. It's only through our profit that we can contribute to our communities. It's only through our profit that we can afford to give time to our employees to go provide service to their communities, right? And so at the core, right, our business is about magnification. And when we teach individual entrepreneurs, individual professionals, these same things, and help them understand that earning more money is not something they should be ashamed of. It's something they ought to strive for. And it's something that opens new doors for them and provides them opportunities to do things that they never would have dreamed possible, right? That is us bringing this promise to our world to life and living the magnification principle. So there are 2 other promises I talked about. They're not here on this sheet, but I want to make sure I mention them. Okay. The fourth is what I call the promise to our founders, and the fifth is the promise to our shareholders. Okay, and so the fourth, the promise to our founders, as we've built Colibri here, it started with McKissick. I have a long-time relationship with Matt and Richard and Di. They're wonderful friends of mine. Matt remains one of my best friends personally. His parents are like second parents to me. And so this promise was something I made back in 2011 when it was just them, but I realized pretty quickly, and I made it to myself, not to them. So it's not public, right? Which is why it's not on the sheet. But I want you to understand it, and I realized that it applies to every founder since then. What I realize is the gravity of my responsibility in shepherding these businesses, and what that means is that just to give you a little bit of background on me, I was a partner in a private equity firm before this. We were an investor in McKissick, and I mentioned at the beginning here that Matt talked me into coming in and trying the role of a CEO for a couple of years. He's a good salesman, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. So he was not only a great salesman, but he was also right. But what I realized was that we already had, we codified a lot of these values here on paper in 2011, but these are really a restatement of things we were already doing and operating by in the 20 years that he'd been building the business prior to that. And so, what I realized is that with this business and with all the businesses with all the businesses that we invest in, they all have a history. They all have people that have helped them build it. They all have, what would I say? They all went to the brink of bankruptcy somewhere along the way, one or more times. Part of what I love is actually the stories of these founders. They are compelling stories. And fundamentally, we only invest in businesses that were built by good people. We see a lot of opportunities here at Colibri, and the ones where people, skirted the lines of ethics, or the ones where people weren't necessarily that honest along the way, where they weren't run by good people, or they didn't invest in the business. There are a whole bunch of different kinds of businesses out there like that. We just shy away from those businesses. And so fundamentally, the situation we find ourselves in is that we are investing in companies that were built by people that I really admire. And so my goal when I am done being CEO and I pass it on to the next person is to have a business where everyone in the business, including the leadership team at that point in time, understand that I have operated the business in such a way each and every day and expect the same of them, which is that they honor the legacy of the founders. And what that means, again, is that as a leader, you're going to be faced with hard decisions. And what that means is that we are a business, we are an economic entity. We have a responsibility to make profit. We have a responsibility to grow, which I'll talk about the promise to our shareholders here in a second. But each and every step of the way, what's important is that we make it fulfilling for our employees, that we focus on delivering value to the customers, and we have to make hard decisions. We do those hard decisions, and we make those hard decisions in the most empathetic way possible, with respect and concern for everyone involved, right? And that goes back to our core values. And so that, to me, is what I describe as honoring the legacy of our founders. And the way that I hold myself accountable to that is I just look at a decision that I'm about to make when it's a hard decision, and I say, gosh, I hope that so-and-so would be proud of me for making this decision. And again, many of my decisions are hard decisions, but you can't shy away from them as an executive. And you know what? For you to achieve your best self, you're gonna face some hard decisions also. And you can't shy away from those hard decisions. You can't necessarily do what's easy. Don't do what's easy, do what's right. And when you do what's right, do it in the best way possible. That's honoring the legacy of our founders. And the fifth promise is the promise to our shareholders. And the promise to our shareholders is simply that we deliver an attractive return. And what you need to understand here is that we have investors. And many of our employees, in fact, are investors in our business. And even with our leading investors, which are private equity firms, those private equity firms are funded by pension funds, which are investing the money of Main Street, right? And so there is a virtuous cycle and effect here, right? When we produce a great product that allows us to produce economic results and create opportunity for our people, right? Those profits, in part, flow back to those Main Street investors who are counting on this money to fund their pension, right? And the typical pensioner is going to put, $100,000 into their pension over the course of their life, with the goal of having that grow to $500,000 through the accumulation of growth in that investment. And part of our responsibility to grow is to be a positive contributor to that equation for them. Okay, so what's our goal? Our goal is to educate 2 million professionals annually while delivering 5 times the value currently by December of 2019. And what we mean, we used to say that as the goal is to deliver an average of $100 per customer. And what we realized was that was actually very confusing for the business. We have products in our business that sell for as low as $18 in serving a professional in some professions, and we have products that sell for as much as $5,000. And so when we said we wanted to get to an average of $100 per customer, it was only a very thin slice of our business that actually saw that goal as moving from point A to point B. And so what we instead said was we wanted to increase the revenue per customer by 50% across the board, which is our goal. Okay? And that's really what the $100 represented when we wrote it. We were at $70 and we wanted to grow to $100. So that's roughly that's just shy of a 50% increase. And what we're trying to do as we earn a 50% increase in the revenue per relationship is we're trying to deliver 5 times the value by doing it, right? And so again, I think that think back to our promise to our customers, right? If we can do that, if we can deliver 5 times the value, and we can do that, and we're only asking them to pay 50% more than what they're paying today on average, right? Are we living that value? Or are we living that promise to our people? Or I'm sorry, that promise to our customer and giving them a lot more than they paid for? We absolutely are, right? And the way that we expect to do that is through technology. And so we'll talk a little bit here about our strategy in a bit, but technology is a key part of how we expect to do that, right? The opportunity we have with technology here is that we build it once and we can offer it many times, right? And so our original model is a business that we go around and train in classroom after classroom after classroom. And there's a lot of cost and infrastructure that goes into that, right? Today, because of technology, we still do some classroom classes, but most of what we do, we're able to do online. And because we're generating scale in our business, we can invest more in these online tools that can help people learn more and learn faster. And that is how we expect to live our goal. So again, the goal is to educate 2 million professionals annually at a 50% increase in the revenue per customer by delivering 5 times the value by December 2019. So let's talk about our strategy. To achieve our goal, we will develop or acquire a new set of products that live our promise to our world. Again, remember, the promise to our world is about magnification, helping them achieve more so that they can do more for those around them. We will go deeper in our existing professions by moving farther across the education continuum so that our customers are regularly engaging with our products. What that really means, what we call the educational continuum, is oftentimes today referred to as career life cycle. It's about starting your profession by passing a test and taking some courses to pass an exam, followed by CE, moving on through to professional development and ongoing learning so you can remain atop your game throughout your profession. That is the education continuum. And so we talk about going farther across the continuum because very often when we get into a business, whether it's appraisal or real estate or financial services or healthcare, in every case we start with one specific segment of that market. Sometimes it's CE, sometimes it's test prep, but then what we look to do, and we have a team that does this, is we're looking to find more opportunities that will allow us to extend across that entire career life cycle or educational continuum so that we can create a lifetime value relationship with that customer. So what does this give us? Doing this will grow our revenue per customer and justify a recurring revenue business model. Our goal is to convert 30% of our 2019 revenue to recurring revenue. And again, it's about developing a set of products that serve our customers in such a way that we have earned the right to a lifetime relationship with them. That's what this is about. And so we want to help professionals be more effective and successful in their career. We want to do a few things well that scale across professions, and we believe that we will win by helping our professionals win. Quite simply, when they achieve more, we achieve more. So let's talk about our strategic initiatives. There are 3 in the business, and these change from time to time. They change form, but fundamentally, our key initiatives as an organization where we create value is largely unchanging. And the first is technology, the second is product development, and the third is marketing. So we call these Strategic Initiative 1 or S1, Strategic Initiative 2 or S2, and Strategic Initiative 3 or S3. Again, the first is technology. We are deploying a robust technology platform that supports all professions. We call this today the common platform. And the goal of the common platform is to create something that can scale across professions and allow us to invest more energy in developing new technology and less energy into supporting legacy technology. And so if you look at the business today, for example, we've acquired 5 businesses to date. And each of those businesses has their own technology infrastructure when we acquire them. And they each have a similar path they need to follow, and they each have a different technology stack. Inevitably, all these businesses that we invest in, part of the reason they're selling is that they don't want to continue down the path of investing more in technology going forward, right? These are typically lifestyle businesses where the founder has built it up and managed it for the cash flow that he or she needs to live on, and therefore they found themselves underinvested in technology for that and a variety of other reasons. And so building a common platform allows us to invest more in each and every business without investing more than we can afford across the entire enterprise, right? It's a scale opportunity. The second is product. So our product teams leverage our platform in a way that uniquely and effectively serves the needs, wants, and desires of our customers in diverse markets globally. And again, that is a basic product development statement. We are building technology, but it's not the technology that matters, it's what we do with the technology that matters. And we have teams of people, typically led by our GMs, but also very often influenced by our marketing team, that are responsible for figuring out what exactly are the customer needs that we've identified, and how do we build solutions to meet those needs so that we're constantly staying ahead of the competition and frankly solving problems that the customers are experiencing on a regular basis. So the third piece here is marketing, and our marketing approach is one that engages professionals to enroll with us in addition to advertising that has us selling to them. And so it's really about striking that balance in marketing. We want to be out in front of our customers and talking to them and reinforcing the relationship that we have with them. We also want to be adding value throughout that relationship through our marketing. And with that value-added marketing, we have an ability to engage them. And when we engage, we then have the ability to have them enroll in things like our membership product. And that's what we're striving for in our marketing is a perpetual continuum of things that start with those initial points of outreach, but really draw them in over time and just have them self-select into wanting to be a part of our community. That's the goal with our marketing. So let's talk about our leadership charter. It's very similar in many ways to our promise to our people with a couple of distinctions. We promise to invest in you. We further promise to provide you with a clear vision and give you the tools you need to succeed by defining your area of ownership and giving you clear responsibility and authority to fulfill our vision. That's the part right there that has a couple of unique pieces. Again, the clear vision, it's our responsibility to give that to you. And that is what we speak about when we talk about educate, empower, and achieve. And then giving you the tools you need to succeed by defining your area of ownership and giving you clear responsibility and authority to fulfill our vision. That is, at its essence, this notion of empowerment, right? That was when I was talking about the core value of trust. This is where it comes in, right? Our job is to state the mission overall, to give you a specific mission within the overall mission, and then cut you loose and let you go out and pursue it and make it happen and give you room to make mistakes and be bold and take chances and just reach for the stars. That is our promise in our leadership charter. And again, we trust you to do what's in all our best interests, which is to take care of the customer. And again, we promise to believe in your ability to overcome the challenges we're going to inevitably face on this journey and to lead us to achieve the impossible. And finally, it is a two-way street. We are asking for your genuine participation, your willingness to engage, your openness to seeing new avenues of progress, your willingness to walk down this road with us, and your trust the journey is going to be a fun and fulfilling one for all of us. So let's talk about how we position the business here. I'll go quickly on this because I think I've covered this a bit in other areas, but fundamentally this is about the notion of achieve more. So what's the competitive opportunity for us here in our business? First of all, there's no licensed education company out there that's providing a practical, full spectrum of learning solutions. Research has shown that professionals have very specific and significant pain points caused by insufficient knowledge and skills and no easy way to skill up. This is in fact what's called the skill gap in a lot of markets today. It's gaining a lot of popularity. Search skills gap in education and you'll get a lot on the fact that people are graduating college, not prepared to operate in the workforce. We are a skills gap company. Okay, and so what's our positioning to go and meet this need and this opportunity? Well, we provide at Colibri learning solutions to licensed professionals who strive to be among the best in their fields. Our wide-ranging products and tools give you a competitive edge by combining the most up-to-date information, practical application to your job, and accessibility anytime and anywhere. A big part of the Common Platform has been about making all of our education mobile accessible. And so all of this leads to our brand promise. Our brand promise is achieve more. Achieve more in your day so that you can achieve more in your career, so that you can achieve more in your life. Again, that is that notion of living our promise to our customers and our promise to our world. So the last slide I want to cover here is what's the why in our business? Why is all of this worth pursuing? And interestingly, we're recording today, and that was in large part a big part of the conversation I had with the company yesterday as part of our quarterly renewal. Actually, it's probably a good segue. Quickly, the quarterly renewal is something that we do each and every quarter to basically take stock of where we are. The quarterly renewal serves a couple of purposes. The first is to, we operate the business on a 90-day rhythm. We think there's a natural rhythm, we think there's a natural rhythm to business, and that business rhythm is 90 days. More than that, and people burn out. Less than that, and we just don't have enough time to get stuff done. So what do we do every 90 days? We pick our heads up, we pause, and we first reflect on what's gone well and what hasn't gone well in the last 90 days. And we do that so we can celebrate, and we do that so we can improve. And both of those are important to ongoing success in the business. Moving on from the renewal. Again, why is what we do worth pursuing? The why in our business is because the need for better solution education is enormous. If you look at this graph, it's an old slide. It's actually something we produced back in 2011. The numbers have certainly changed, but what it fundamentally shows here is that the number of people getting degrees and spending exorbitant amounts of money on college is not matching up with what we're seeing people earn in terms of ROI from that education. There's a big group of people in the country. Again, college is wonderful, but there's a big group of people in the country that are going out and getting $100,000 plus of debt and coming out only to find that they can't earn more than $40,000, in some cases $30,000 with that degree. In fact, one of the professions that we serve is a great example. The cost to get licensed for cosmetology in most cases is in excess of $40,000. The median income for a licensed cosmetologist, according to the BLS, the last time I checked, was $23,000. So I think that is one of many examples that are out there, unfortunately, that just show that the need for a better solution education is enormous. And there are a whole bunch of companies working on how to solve this equation and how to change the game. And this at the core is what we do at Colibri. We do it differently than a lot of other companies because we're already in the business of professional development. We're already in the business of licensure. But what you have to understand is that when we do our business well, when we operate at our highest level and live our values, we absolutely have the power to change lives. And our education, I can tell you countless stories, and somewhere along the way I'm sure you'll hear them. We have countless stories of people that have gone from being in really tough spots in their life to taking our education, which again in general can be gotten for under $5,000, and have gone from there to a career that will allow them to earn $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, six-figure incomes. Financial services is a great example. Real estate is another great example. Even nursing, right, where you can get an RN degree through the community college system at a very reduced rate, and then we can support you in the rest of your career development from there as a registered nurse. So the opportunities abound across our business. And what we're doing here with our education, with affordable education, delivered in a quality way over technology that scales, is creating a path that is good for us and good for our customers. And when done the right way, when really done with passion, right, we change lives. And that is what I'll close with. My challenge to you is to do exactly that. Look down at your purpose and passion, put it in front of you, read it, and ask yourself, how can I take this passion statement and apply that to our goal here of changing lives with the people that we touch? I wish you well on this journey. I look forward to meeting you, and just know that we're counting on you to make great things happen. Thanks.